Okay, I think we have it now.
Testing, 1, 2, test, test.
Yep.
Test, 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 1, 2. Testing, testing.
We've come to the conclusion that we couldn't find the charger for the second camera.
Testing, test.
Up to bat.
Testing, 1, 2, test, test, 1, 2. Testing, test, test.
Up to bat, Ashland Brothers.
No, you're all good. Hey, you couldn't fail the whole time. Your headset, or are you getting your headset? Why don't you just start for like bottom of first, I guess, and then I'll jump on. And what's the last name? Peterson. Perfect.
Well, good evening, softball fans. Welcome to Sherman ISD Complex for the conference matchup between your Austin College Kangaroos and the visiting University of Dallas Crusaders. My name is Max Danielson. I'll be assisting with the play-by-play and color commentary for this evening. Joining me here in a little bit is going to be Connor Peterson. For the Lady Roos is the designated player, number 14, Lauren Trott. She takes the first pitch of the at-bat for a ball. In the interim, before we got this broadcast up, the Lady Roos had a very easy 1-2-3 inning against the Crusaders. On the bump for today's number 7, McKinley Hankins, as the count goes to 2-0. Lauren Trott so far in the season batting .455 with an 818 slugging percentage. The Ashland brothers there with a stolen base. That one being her third on the season for the Lady Roos as the count goes to 2-1. Fouled off to the right field as the count will go to 2-2. So for the Crusaders today, the battery in the circle is number 10, Christina Guerra, and the catcher being number 24. as for some reason I do not have that name on my chart. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. And that'll be 2 away for the Crusaders.
Up to bat, Reggie Baker.
Up to bat for the Lady Brews is going to be number 10. That is Reagan Brinkley, batting .235 on the season. He's going to take that first pitch for a ball, just a little bit low. Second pitch in there, just a bit upstairs, going to a 2-0 count for Guerra. It looks like we do have a slight error in the system, as the catcher for the day is actually number 33, and that is Kaylee Sweezy, the junior from Frisco Heritage High School. Swing and a miss there from Brinkley, makes the count 2-1. Runners in scoring position for the Roos right now, just 90, or rather, I believe 60 away. Just a little bit low for the umpire's liking. That makes the count 3-1. Here's a 3-1 pitch, and that's going to be in. It's going to be called a strike right there as the count goes full. And Guerra trying to wiggle her way out of this situation. Full count delivery, and fouled off just behind the backstop.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get this out of camera. Do you have enough slack on those sports?
So Guerra on the season so far has a 3.71 ERA with 5.2 innings pitched. And gets the strikeout to end the inning. And the Crusaders wiggle their way out of trouble. Your score here in Sherman, 0-0 as we go to the top of the second.
Up to bat, Ava Aylman.
We are back here in Sherman, top of the second inning. 0-0 is your score. Stepping in for the Lady Crusaders is number 30, Ava Alleman. She takes the first pitch for a ball. And Alleman serving as the designated player today for the Lady Crusaders. Takes a second pitch for a strike, making the count 1-1. So Alleman last season for the Lady Crusaders batted .255 with a .670 OPS, as that's going to be popped over to first base and made. The catch is the first baseman for the Lady Roos, Tessa Contreras, as that goes to 1 out.
Up to bat, Katie Duffy Ruff.
Batting in the 6 hole for the Lady Crusaders is going to be Katie Duffy-Relf, number 23, holding down the hot corner for this evening as she's going to line that over to right field for an easy out there to Myers, and that gets it to 2 outs as the Lady Roos looking for another easy 1-2-3 inning, but they will have to go through the catcher, number 33, Kaylee Sweezy. Ground ball to second base. Brothers to Contreras for the easy out, and another 1-2-3 inning for the Lady Roos. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Your score still 0-0 here at Sherman ISD, and we will be right back. And we are back here for the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 is your score for the Lady Roos.
After that, Jane Kelly.
The ball outside to start the inning. Up to bat is going to be number 0, Jillian Kelly, the lefty left fielder. That's going to be in there for a strike, making the count 1-1. Going to leave that upstairs for 2-1. Kelly so far in the season batting .214. So far with 3 hits in their past few series versus Laterno and as well East Texas Baptist University. As she's going to lay a bunt down, and it's going to stay there on the third base line as she gets to first base. And the Roos start the inning off with a base runner on.
After that, Jane Myers.
Up the bat for the Roos is going to be Jaden Myers. Myers in the top of the second, got the second out on a line out to right field from the Crusaders. Myers so far this year batting .400 as she's going to slap that over to shortstop. Crusaders are going to try to roll it. They do get the out at second base, and they got 1 out for this inning. They do not turn the double play as the Roos stay at first base. And up to bat for the Roos is going to be Cheyenne Fields, the freshman out of Canyon Lake High School out of New Braunfels, Texas. Fields, the secondary portion of the battery for the Roos today. And runner goes as she is going to be safe, just gets under the tag there. And Myers in scoring position for the Roos. And 1-0 count here for Fields. Garrett with a strike there, and the count goes to 1-1. And as we said prior, Guerra's had a pretty solid start to her year. Only one game started as she throws a strike there, but a 3.71 ERA, leading the team so far in innings pitched with 5.2, as this game obviously will make that go up. Guerra with the delivery, and that's going to be fouled just behind the backstop here, as now the count goes to 1-2. Fields on the season batting .375, as she will look to improve that here. She's going to pop that straight back. Count will stay 1-2. And that one's going to go for a ball here as the count goes to 2-2. Guerra with the delivery. That's going to be just fouled down the left field line, as Fields saw an inside pitch. Turned on it pretty well. Just a little bit too much, as count is 2-2. Guerra's going to pop. Roos are going to stay at third base. However, Fields is going to go to second base, and now the Roos have runners on second and third. Fields on that last one just got it right over the second baseman there. Now batting for the Roos, the first baseman, number 2, Tessa Contreras. Guerra's first pitch is going to be low, 1-0 count. Contreras is going to pop that up to center field. Roos are going to try to tag, and that's going to be the first run of the ball game as Fields moves to third base. And Tessa Contreras gets the RBI for the Lady Roos as they take the lead in this game in the bottom of the second. So Brooklyn Kreider up for the Roos, holding down the shortstop position today. She's got a runner on third base. First pitch of the at-bat's going to be right down Broadway for a strike. Guerra, the 0-1 pitch. That's going to be just on the outside corner. Umpire's going to call it a ball. We got a 1-1 count. He's going to foul that just straight back as the count will go to 1-2. The Lady Roos in their last series went 1-2, their last game being a massive win against Laterno with an 11-4 score. And that is going to be hit right to the first baseman, and unfortunately gets right under her glove, as that is going to cause Fields to score, and the Roos are up 2-0. And the Lady Roos back up at the top as Tori Fowler, the center fielder, will be back up to play. And that's the thing about turf fields, is sometimes with those soft ones, they'll just die there comparatively to a natural dirt field where they may have taken a little bit of a different hop. It would have been an easy put out there for the Crusaders. As Fowler's going to swing on an outside pitch, and the count will go to 0-1. Fowler's going to look at that upstairs. The count will go to 1-1. Fowler so far on the year batting 176. That's going to go to a 2-1 count. As she's going to swing in another outside pitch. Count goes to 2-2. And what I was going to say a little bit earlier, don't let that 176 average fool you. Fowler had a great season last year, batting .301 with a .336 on-base percentage, .374 slugging percentage. She's going to look at that on the outside corner. Good frame there by the catcher, but that's going to go to a full count here. And Guerra's going to try to look to get her way out of the inning. Payoff pitch for the Crusaders, and Fowler's going to swing at that, and that will be the end of the inning. Roos score 2 here in the bottom of the second as we go to the top of the third. Your score 2-0 as the Lady Roos lead this game. We are back here for the top of the third, or the bottom of the top of the third inning. Apologies.
After that, we apologize.
And up to lead off for the Crusaders to start this inning for a strike. That is going to be number 3, Kaylee Barjaz. That's going to be just a bit down as the count's going to go to 1-1. Barjaz, a freshman out of Teague High School, as that's going to be fouled off towards the first base side. We have a 1-2 count. Hankins deals. It's going to be outside. 2-2 count for the Lady Roos. Hankins 2-2 pitch. That's going to be roped down the line, and that's just going to be foul. As Barr has got that inside pitch turned on it pretty well. But the count will stay 2-2. Going to pop that just behind first base. Brothers tries to get it. Goes right off the glove as Barhaz is going to go to second base, and she is going to be in there as the Crusaders, to start off the inning, have a runner in scoring position.
Up to bat, 3 Barnes.
Now for the Crusaders to work to get that runner closer to scoring position, or further in scoring position, is going to be number 7, Bree Barnes. Barnes playing second base for the Crusaders today. Going to hit that to second base, as that will advance the base runner to third base. As Barnes does her job and gets that runner ever so closer to home plate.
Up to bat, Aaliyah Valdez.
And the Crusaders back at the top of the lineup, being Aaliyah Valdez, their left fielder for today's game. As she's going to hit that right past the third baseman, and the Crusaders will score, as their first scoring of this game makes the score 2-1. University of Dallas's third hit on the day.
Up to bat, Keely Mathis.
And the lefty shortstop, Keely Mathis, in the box, 0-1 for the day. Hankins leaves that a little bit upstairs as the count will go to 1-0. And that's going to be a little bit down. Crusaders will not advance on that low ball, as it will be 2-0. Hankins so far before this game had appeared in 7 innings for the Lady Roos with a 10 ERA, as that's going to be fouled over towards the third base side. Hankins in her third start for the Lady Roos this year. 2-1 pitch. It's going to be just a little bit low, as the count will advance to 3-1. And the Lady Crusaders looking to add another base runner. The 3-1 pitch is going to be tapped right back to the pitcher, as she is going to throw that to first base to Contreras and get the second out of the inning. Does advance the runner to second base.
Up to bat, Abby Lassie.
Abby Lastly, the center fielder for the Crusaders, is up, as that will be just a bit low, as the count will go to 1-0 here. That's going to be shot towards second base. The throw coming from right field, and Fields going to miss the tag there. A great throw by Myers from right field. Unfortunately, the throw just in a little bit of an awkward position for Fields to turn around and get the runner, as that will tie this ball game at 2.
Up to bat, Mackenzie Flocky.
First pitch in there for Mackenzie Flocky is going to be a strike. Oh, 1 pitch. Going to be just a tad low, as that will make the count 1-1. Hankins delivers. A little bit low. 2-1 count for the Lady Roos, as the Crusaders looking to get hot with a 2-out rally. Hankins deals. Right back up the middle. Hits Hankins. Gathers and gets it for an easy put out to first base. Crusaders even it up here at Sherman ISD. And as we move to the bottom of the third inning. Your score is tied 2-2 Crusaders Roos. Leading off the inning for the Lady Roos is going to be number 21, Ashland Brothers. Brothers batting .357 on the year with 5 hits, a .438 on base percentage for the Lady Roos as Guerra tries to get an outside pitch to start the inning, makes it count 1-0. Brothers, one of the returners for the Lady Roos this year, batted last season 176 with 9 hits, a .216 slugging percentage, as she is going to try to get it down there on the left field line, but just goes shy of fair. 1-1 count here for Brothers.
I would advise, if you're ever going to tell me to switch, which feel free to always just say switch. I'll do it. But you want to always be.
Garrett sets up.
You don't want to be actively moving.
There's been an off speed there as they're going to get a foul ball.
Yeah. It'll be on and out or okay, perfect. Yeah. So
we're just going to see.
I'll do it now. Let me know when you're fully zoomed.
Appears the umpire gave a warning. Not sure if it was for catcher's interference or for what specifically, as the count is 1-2. Brother swings, and Guerra gets the strikeout there. Her third on the day.
Also, let me know if you're going to start zooming out again.
And up to bat is going to be Lauren Trott. She's going to pop that up. And third baseman is going to get it for the out. Almost a collision there between the third baseman and the catcher.
And how about third baseman?
And up for the Lady Roos is going to be the third baseman, Reagan Brinkley. Garrett looking for a 1-2-3 inning here as she's going to deliver a ball for her first pitch of this at-bat.
I just wish I could preview you over here, but
Brinkley trying to shift momentum over here for the Lady Roos. As we discussed prior, Brinkley batting .235 on the season. As she's going to lift that to right field, and that's going to be an easy put out as Guerra gets a 1-2-3 inning for the Lady Crusaders. As we will remain at 2-2 as we shift to the top of the fourth inning, and we will be back just momentarily. We are back in action here at Sherman ISD for the top of the fourth inning. Soon to be joining me is going to be Colin Peterson, making sure that the broadcast audio is working great for us here up in the booth. But He will be taking over play-by-play commentary at the bottom of the 4th inning. Hankett's first pitch of the inning is going to be a strike. Up to bat for the Lady Crusader is going to be their designated player, number 30, Ava Alleman, as she's going to take a high and inside pitch for a ball. Hankins moves to a 1-1 count. Delivers. Going to be just on the outside corner for a 2-1 count. 2-1 pitch is just going to be upstairs. And the count moves to 3-1. As Alleman looking to either draw the walk or find a way on. Get the Crusaders started for the inning. 3-1 pitch. That's going to be fouled straight back as we go to a full count here. Alleman stepping in. Hankins, the payoff pitch. Alleman's going to put that just past second base there, and that's going to be a single to start off the inning for the Lady Crusaders, as that is going to bring up Katie Duffy-Relf.
Up to bat, Katie Duffy-Relf.
Duffy-Relf, a returner for the Lady Crusaders, batted last year .310 with 27 hits. 3 doubles and a triple with 20 RBIs. And we're going to get a pinch runner here for the Crusaders. And pitch running there for Alleman is going to be number 27. That's Erica Galiziski. Or Galiski, I apologize. And a bunt is just going to go foul there on the first base side. Would have been a phenomenal sack bunt had that just stayed fair. And Duffy-Relf will be back at the dish with an 0-1 count. Hankins trying to get a 2-ball here. Hankins on the 0-1. Duffy-Relf is going to foul that over to first base, and we go to an 0-2 count. Hankins looking for a way to put her away. The whole plate umpire goes to talk to Hankins. Hankins, the 0-2 pitch. Tessa Contreras gets it for the putout and taps on first base for a double play. So Hankins does get that 2-ball there for the Lady Roos, as we will have 2 outs in this inning. And the Roos shift momentum, trying to get a shutdown inning. As now Sweezy, the battery, part of the battery rather, for the Lady Crusaders up at the dish, 0-1 for the day. It's going to take a ball upstairs. University of Dallas, 5 hits for the night so far, looking to tack on more. Hankins goes outside, 2-0. The pitch there is going to be a little bit down. That's going to be a 3-0 count. Sweezy last year for the Crusaders batted .233, 14 hits on the year. in 60 at-bats. And she's going to see that down as Hankins walks. Now up at the dish is going to be the right fielder, being number 3, Kaylee Barahaz. First pitch of the at-bat. Gonna go to Contreras there for the out. And we are still held 2-2 as the Lady Roos escape traffic there. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be back shortly.
Testing second mic. Testing for our QA. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
We're back here for the bottom of the 4th. Your score still 2-2, and joining me on the broadcast is the man, Mr. Connor Peterson. Connor, how you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you holding things down here. Our veteran, Max, alumni here with the play-by-play. Alumni here at Austin College, I hear.
Yeah, a little bit. Once upon a time. A little bit of a alumni as the count goes to 1-0.
Yeah, I really like the way these Lady Roos are executing, but we need to see a little more offense. We saw some there in the 2nd inning. See if we can get some base runners and start another rally here in the bottom of the 4th.
One and one.
Also a very good chance.
1-1 count for Guerra as a strike, and that moves to 1-2. One-two pitch. Deals. That's going to be upstairs. Goes to a 2-2 count. One thing about Guerra this evening, she's had a lot of very, very competitive counts so far, and that's kept the Crusaders in this game, along with their offense coming alive there in the 3rd inning.
Oh, yeah, she's been getting ahead in the count early, as now she throws the ball, so it could go either way here. 3-2, full count. It's never really a hitter's or a pitcher's count, but the zone tightens up a little bit.
Payoff pitch from Guerra. That's going to be down the middle there. And the Lady Roos are going to beat that out as Kelly gets to first base there using her speed, and that puts the Roos on to lead off this inning.
Yeah, Kelly with the nice slap hit there. That's usually when a lefty gets in the box and they kind of slap it the other way. They start making their way to first, get a little head start on this base path. And here we saw it there, Kelly getting on first, starting off this 4th inning for the Roos.
When we talk about speed, we got Jaden Myers also at the dish. That is one thing about the Lady Roos as a foul ball goes to the 3rd base side. One thing about the Lady Roos, they're a very, very quick team. Although a very young team, a very quick team, and that's really helped them, especially when they got in the bases. If you look at their last game winning 11-4, and when you look all around, all you see is a ton of contact as over the past few games. Limited the Ks, but specifically gained a lot of average as Myers is going to put that right over the 3rd base line, as that is going to move Kelly over to 2nd base, and the Roos already in scoring position. But as I was just saying, one thing about the Roos is every single game, as they've continued to play, they've gotten better and better and better about getting on base and especially hitting for average. Last game alone hitting .394 against their win versus Laterno.
Yeah, that was a great win in conference play, as Laterno is a pretty tough competitor. Winning 11-4 will definitely bring them some momentum early in the season, as they're still looking for that win streak. Technically, they're on a one-gamer, so hopefully Max and I will be able to experience that second win, huh? But in the SCAC, Concordia is leading along with St. Thomas, Texas Lutheran, Centenary. So if Austin College wants to stay competitive, they'll have to make sure they can get on a streak early.
Pulls that to left field. Crusaders are going to camp under that there for the first out of the inning. You know, some days here in Sherman, especially with the wind tunnels here, I mean, there are days where that just goes.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, the wind was on standby tonight, and we're getting lucky here. Better than the rain, I'd say.
And Tessa Contreras up for the Lady Roos. Garadiel's first pitch going to be just outside there, going to a 1-0 count.
Yeah, with one out now, they would have loved to move the runners over, but unfortunately couldn't get that done. Still runner in scoring position, but would have loved to have both of them with maybe a
Contreras turns on that deep left field, going up, and it's out of here.
Big home run here in the bottom of the fourth. Gives them a 3-run lead.
And that is what you do with an inside pitch. She saw that immediately out of the hand, got her hips in position, and pulled that ball down the left field line for her first home run of the season. Second for the Lady Roos on the year, as Lauren Trott hit a home run last weekend against Laterno. And that goes right back to what I was just saying about Sherman. There are some times where that wind will just carry that ball.
Yeah, maybe Maxie might have woke the wind up here. That one carried, just getting over the wall there in short left field. Now we have ourselves a 5-2 ball game. Lady Roos lead it.
And Kreider up for the Lady Roos as Guerra gets back into it with a first pitch foul ball, as the count will go to 0-1. And that's one thing we've already seen in this game about the Crusaders. Even though they're down, they are not out. We saw the second inning where the Roos scored 2, and immediately the Lady Crusaders had an answer the very next inning. And that's one thing I think that really plays in favor for the Lady Crusaders here.
Yeah, I can imagine the bats come out hot here in the top of the fifth. As these Crusaders, well, they've struggled so far early this year. They're always competitive in this SCAC. And they'll be looking to take the first game here on this weekend here in Austin College at Sherman High School. Long weekend of softball. We'll see who can grab this first one here, as we're just over the halfway mark.
1-2 count here for the Lady Roos, and it's a good note that you mentioned. You know, one thing about the Lady Crusaders last year as a team is that's going to be hit to center field, and it's going to just drop a little bit shy there of Lastly as the Lady Roos get on with one out. But anyways, as I was just saying, you know, Lady Crusaders last year hit .255, a .631 OPS. I mean, they are a team that will find ways to get on base. And we've seen that so far here tonight, as they've already tacked on 5 hits. Lady Roos with 8 so far. But obviously, as we know, Lady Crusaders will continue to tack on to that number.
Oh, yeah. And last year, it didn't go entirely University of Dallas's way, as their record shaped out to be 9-31 with 5-25 in conference play. With a lot new younger talent this season, they're looking to turn things around. However, they're still looking for their first win of the season. And it looks like the Lady Roos are making it tough here on a Friday night in Sherman.
And Lady Roos back up at the top of the lineup with the center fielder, Tori Fowler, as she swings on the first pitch. Fowler over for 2 tonight. One thing that plays into Tori Fowler's game, being a switch hitter, obviously really, really great. You think of, some of the best switch hitters, especially when we think baseball, Chipper Jones. And one thing you always notice as Fowler swings for an 0-2 pitch, but the one thing about a switch hitter, regardless whether it's baseball or softball, they always come in handy because one thing is Crusaders could bring in a southpaw rather. Mm-hmm. Fowler flips the other side and is still effective.
Oh, yeah. And being a lefty in softball is so crucial with those slap hittings I was discussing earlier. You slap it down the third base line, and it basically plays as a bunt. Like we were talking about with baseball, it's like almost everyone in a lineup can mimic the great Ichiro Suzuki, as he might have been a softball player once in his day.
Oh, he would have been a phenomenal slap hitter.
He would have been. I don't know how popular softball is overseas, but finally Ichiro made it over, and now that's the game of softball here. As I love the game of small ball, too. I love how softball really engages small ball mentality by either coaching staff. And you don't see that a lot in baseball nowadays. It's all the home runs, but these Lady Roos are getting on base, and when they do deliver that home run, they tack on a few more runs with it, as we're here in the bottom of the fourth with the 5-2 ball game in front of us.
1-2 pitch from Guerra, and that's going to be fouled off yet again as Fowler battling to stay in this count. And as you were talking about earlier with lefties, especially with slap hitters, one thing for Fowler, insane speed, which really, really helps her for that slap aspect as we're talking about, as that was a part of what had her hitting season last year be very, very successful for the Lady Roos, as she looks at a pitch downstairs going to a 2-2 count.
Yeah, it's so crucial, like you said, to have these switch hitters in this lineup. And like you said, you really don't mind facing either pitcher. It's hard to pitch around a switch hitter because regardless of who you throw in the game from your bullpen, they're just going to walk to the other side of the plate.
Fowler still at a 2-2 count as she continues to battle. And she's going to pull that there to the second base side as the Lady Crusaders are going to get the put out at 1, but that is going to move the runner over to second base.
Ashlyn Brothers.
As Ashlyn Brothers comes to the dish. 1-2 so far for the day. And Fowler over there in scoring position. That's one of these players for the Lady Roos that you would really, really like to have in scoring position. And, well, the Lady Roos just have that, as first pitch of the at-bat is going to be low for a ball.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there. Getting the runner over. Yes, we saw the home run this inning, but they're looking to tack on as many as they can, as these Crusaders not giving up early.
Pitch upstairs is going to make it a 2-0 count.
Yeah, Austin College so far this year, they're posting a 1-4 record and 1-2 in conference play. So if they were to sweep through this weekend, they would improve their conference record to 4-2, putting them more towards the top of these standings. And I think we might just see that here tonight, as finally, like you mentioned, the momentum from that Laterno ball game over on Saturday. They're looking to get 2 straight here.
And it continues to show with their bats, batting .262 so far in the year. That number increasing as Brothers is going to foul that over to the third base side, and we have a 2-2 count. 2's on the board here for the Crusaders, as Guerra looks to get out of this inning.
In their last 4 games, they've given up 6 or fewer runs. So like you mentioned, it's really those bats that need to come alive here. And we saw last Saturday at Laterno, they did come alive, getting all 11 of those. Their first game against Laterno, they lost 6-5 in a nail-biter. Then the next game, lost 4-3. And then obviously they got that win over there. So we see an error committed by the pitcher. And we'll have another base runner here.
Up to that, Lauren Trout.
And as much as people think that's such an easy play for the pitcher, it's really not, especially when you have to think about all the things that happen between then and getting that. And they're actually going to call. They're going to call Brothers out there.
Yeah, it could have been some type of situation where the runner might have advanced too early, some obstruction of some sorts.
What it looked like, at least from what I saw, the umpire pointing at the top of the box, I'm wondering that if Brothers, when she hit that ball, was just outside of the batter's box there, as that will end the inning for the Lady Roos, although did quite a bit of damage there with Contreras' 3-run home run. That brings the score 2-5 here for the Lady Roos going in to the top of the 5th inning, and we will be back just shortly. And we are back here at Sherman ISD as we are in the top of the 5th inning. Hankett so far throwing a pretty good game for the Lady Roos. Has had quite a few 1-2-3 innings in this game. 3 scoreless innings. Her lone 2-run inning in the top of the 3rd, as the count will advance to 2-0. Hankins throws a strike there. And it goes to 2-1. As Mathis there swung over. Mathis is going to slap that one over towards the left field side. She's going to try to take 2, and she is going to get there. As Brothers wasn't able to come up cleanly with that ball, and the Crusaders start off the inning already in scoring position.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there, and actually a pretty good relay throw, but just couldn't get the tag down in time. Now we already have, like you said, runner on second, no outs, and it'd be hard to see University of Dallas not scoring here.
A pop fly there to the pitcher as she's going to take it for the first out of the inning.
Well, I guess if you get 2 more of those, you could see a 0 here. You hate to see an infield pop-up with a runner in scoring position. At least want to bunt them over, but good execution here by the Roos.
As Mathis puts that past first base there. And apologies, third base runner being Barnes, the second baseman. One thing, it's a little bit hard to read these numbers up here. White number with a blue outline, as head coach Brandon Johnson is going to come out and have a mound visit with the Lady Roos. And although the Crusaders have 1 out so far, looking pretty good with scoring position. And as we talked about last inning, you can't count out the Lady Crusaders. They always have an answer for something, as we're already seeing it, as they continue to tack onto that number for their hits and putting runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it looks like they need these Lady Roos to ignite a fire in them for them to wake up and start scoring, as we've seen in the bottom of the 2nd when the Lady Roos scored 2. Dallas scored 2. So, I don't know. Will we see 3 runs here? It's starting to look that way as we have 2 runners on.
And Abby lastly up for the Crusaders as she's going to take the first pitch for a ball. Lastly on the day, 1 for 2. Trying to tack on there. Hankins with the pitch, and that's going to go to shortstop. 1, but doesn't get the second one there. As the duo of Kreider and Brothers can't roll that double play, but that does score 1 for the Crusaders, making it a 3-5 ball game.
Yeah, so our Crusaders not going down easy. 3-5 the score.
As a first pitch there for a ball. And on that ground ball there for the double play, looked at that ball. Didn't come off the ground as Kreider wanted it to. Came up just a little bit too soft. As the count will go to 1-1. Hankins trying to mitigate damage here for the Lady Roos. Ball's going to be down. As that will go to a 2-1 count, 2 outs in this inning. So Mackenzie Flock up for the Crusaders. So far for this game, 0 for 2 playing first base today. Hankins deals, and that's going to be ball 4 as the Crusaders move a run into scoring position. And that will bring up Ava Alleman, the designated player for the Lady Crusaders.
Up to bat, Ava Alleman.
Little 2-out rally here. We still have a lot of softball left tonight. Austin College is letting their foot off the gas a little bit here. Crusaders inching their way back.
And first pitch, umpire's going to say is a little bit high for ball 1.
So as we were discussing earlier, it looks like Austin College, when their bats are awake, they can find some wins. However, last season they posted a earned run average of 7.23, so you're basically giving up a run an inning. It's hard to get W's playing that type of softball.
And a strike there for Hankins, and kind of like what you said, you know, it's really hard when you're giving up, you know, on average a run per inning. That's really, really hard for your bats to keep up with that. And that's the one thing about baseball and softball that a lot of people don't understand is it's not only, you know, one aspect could be great. Your hitting could be great, but pitching and fielding's got to be on. And even if one of those is off for the day, that could spell disaster for a team. As the count will move to 3-1 here for the Lady Roos.
And if you give a ton of runs up early, it might not show in the box score, but it's hard as a hitter to come up knowing, hey, my team's down by like 7 runs. It's going to be hard. Where's my motivation? Like, how are we going to win this game? It's a lot easier when your pitchers keep you around, so that 2-run base hit or that home run can really make things close. And it looks like umpire is going to have a talk.
Looks like there's about to be a potential pitching change here as Hankins loads the bases with a walk. And we are going to have a pitching change here for the Lady Roos as Hankins' day is done for the day. Pretty solid outing for her.
Yeah, pretty solid outing for sure. She'll leave a few runners on. Hoping her relief can get her out of here and get her no earned runs after just the 3 we've seen. But giving up 3 through 4 2/3 inning is definitely good for the stat sheet. Keeping these Roos up in the lead.
And coming in relief for the Lady Roos in the circle is going to be number 55. That is the freshman out of Lindsay, Oklahoma, Lindsay High School, Maddie McGowan. So far for the Lady Roos this season, she has appeared in 3.1 innings with a 16.8 ERA. And obviously not going to hold that number too tightly, especially coming into college, your first season as a collegiate softball player. It's very, very hard. And, I can tell you from experience, those freshman jitters, they get to you. But obviously trying to get McGowan more and more reps just to kind of ease her nerves. And as we'll probably see, as the season goes on, that number is just going to get better and better and better as she settles in. First pitch is just going to be a bit outside. And that is one thing. Putting McGowan in a situation that shows belief from the Lady Roos coaching staff that she can get, out of this inning. And a lot of people don't realize the relief pitching position as she throws a strike there for a 1-1 count. The relief position is one of the hardest positions in baseball and softball. You're trying to get momentum shifted back over to your side. And as a relief pitcher, you have to have nails in your veins.
Oh, yeah. A lot of trust here from Brandon Johnson. Like you said, given the freshman a chance. Yeah, the ERA doesn't look great on paper now, but only a 1 or 2 outings to show for.
As the Lady Crusaders hit that over to the first base side. And a 1-2 count. McGowan trying to get herself out of this jam. And save Hankins some earned runs there.
This defense will want to back up their freshman pitcher here, get them out of the inning, still keep that 2-run lead heading into the bottom of the 5th.
That's going to be popped up. Myers underneath it, and McGowan gets out of the inning and saves those runs for Hankins. Lady Crusaders do scoop one across as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-5 score. Your Lady Roos up, and we will be back shortly.
To bat, Lauren Shaw.
And we are back here for the bottom of the 5th. As the Lady Roos look to add more. And Trot is going to pop that straight up to the catcher for out number 1.
Up to that, Reagan Burnfleet.
First pitch swinging and doesn't leave the infield. So good start here for the Crusaders. If they want to get back in this thing, they'll need a few quick outs here. Get themselves back to the top of the 6th as they only have about 6 more outs. They want to stay alive here.
And up to bat for the Lady Roos, Reagan Brinkley. And one thing about both sides of this game, both sides have a lot of experience when it comes to softball knowledge and softball experience. You look at the University of Dallas side with head coach Eric Oakley. Has a lot of experience, as obviously this being his 9th season as the University of Dallas coach, but also having quite a bit of experience at the Division I level, at one point coaching with North Dakota and a couple other schools along the way. And then when you take a look at the Austin College side, 3 former collegiate softball players with their coaches Carson Lampkin, Tori Rivera, a leader for Sam Houston in the hits category, and then assistant coach Gracie Orr. And as well that for their head coach, Brandon Johnson, playing a little bit of minor league baseball for the Kansas City Royals. So a lot of experience on both sides of this game. And that's really key and crucial to have for these athletes as they continue to develop in their journeys having that mentorship and experience that comes along the way from both sides and both teams, both programs obviously in a very, very good position when it comes to the leadership aspect.
Oh, yeah, and that's why these head coaches' tenure has been so long. Players will tell you when they like you, and they usually do so on the field with their actions over the words. And I know in my day, if a coach was hard on me, I liked him even more because I just saw that they wanted to win. And it looks like both sides, both dugouts, obviously some real winners here in collegiate and even semi-professional, both their respected categories. But only tonight we'll only have one victor.
Oh, yeah.
Austin College looking to run away with it, but Crusaders won't go away.
And Guerra here with a full count with one out, trying to find that second one of the inning. As Brinkley trying to stay alive here. Guerra, the payoff pitch. And yet again, Brinkley will stay alive as she fouls that back. And that is one thing in this game that we've seen so far from both sides. One thing I got to give credit to for the Lady Crusaders and the Lady Roos is how well they've battled so far at the plate, making it a very, very tough day for the pitchers on the circle. Guerra 3-2. And yet again, Brinkley battles. And I know that feeling all too well as a former pitcher. Granted, albeit from the baseball side, but I do know the struggles and the frustration that goes into a pitcher's mind where it feels like you've thrown everything that you got in the arsenal and you got to find a way to get them out and you just don't feel like you can. And it just turns into a chess match as we're seeing for this at-bat. Oh, yeah, Max. As a former hitter, I always loved working the counts, making them throw more pitches than they'd like to. Even if I did, stumble into a ground out or find my way back in the dugout, I know I at least made the pitcher throw too many pitches more than they'd like. And yet again, Brinkley battles. And even so, regardless of the outcome at this point, that is a win if you think about it for the Lady Roos, because now you're taking bullets off the arm of Guerra and trying to get closer and closer to the Lady Crusaders having to go to their bullpen. And right back up the middle, and Guerra going to try to recover, tries to fire it over to first base, and Brinkley sends that ball right back up the middle for a potential early happy birthday present as the Lady Roos find a way to get on, and a massive at-bat for the Lady Roos, as that is going to bring to the dish number 0, that being Jillian Kelly, the freshman out of Thunder Ridge High School in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Lady Crusaders looking for an out, preferably a 2-ball here, as they're going to start the count going outside with a 1-0. Yeah, great at bat. And was able to get on. So there's the outcome she wanted. In my storyline, for some reason, I decided that I was getting out with the pop of a ground out. But hey, we saw a single right back up the middle. Lucky to get a glove on it, as that one could have been damaging, but stayed in the infield base hit technically. And that's going to be a strike there on the outside corner. And you got to give credit for this umpire. The home plate umpires had a very, very consistent zone this evening, and that's what you want to see when it comes to umpires. Oh, yeah, especially in today's game where they're going electronic. They want to keep their jobs, too. Oh, yeah. I'd love to see the report. I wish they did report cards, kind of like how they do in Major League Baseball. Oh, yeah. 'Cause I feel like our home plate umpire here would have a pretty decent scorecard for tonight. Yeah, I'd see you saying A- range so far. Guerra with the 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off yet again to the third base side. You know that your umpire is doing pretty well when neither side is really complaining or shaking their head or going under their breath. So far, it's been a clean game and great refereeing so far. And a close call there. That's going to be 2-2. And that's how you know you're doing a phenomenal job as an umpire, when you're staying under the radar, you're calling a fair game on both sides and having very, very consistent calls, as we're seeing so far in this game. 2-2 pitch here, as yet again the Lady Roos are going to battle it off.
Yeah, I appreciate your respect for this umpire crew. I think it's easy to hate on bad umpires, but do the good umpires really get as much respect? It's always like the hate outweighs the nice things to say.
And again, fouled off there to the third base side.
Because if you're choosing to be an umpire, you must love the game yourself, you know.
Oh yeah,
They
you do
want
it
a
for the
good
love
game.
of the game.
Oh yeah. So of course they're not trying to make human error come into play. They just want fair baseball or softball to be played.
And taps it right over the third base side, as that's going to move the Lady Roos over into scoring position. And another great at-bat for the Lady Roos as Kelly finds a way to get on, and that's going to bring up Jaden Myers, the right fielder, who earlier in this game, as we saw, had a phenomenal throw from right field. Unfortunately, the momentum of that throw took Fields away from that ball, and that's one thing that's really, really tough as a catcher, is you're trying to put yourself in a really great position to make that catch, all while still trying to give that third base runner an avenue to get into third base. And unfortunately, with those type of throws where it's going to pull you away, that's where sometimes you get in a tricky situation, where a lot of times people may blame that on the catcher or the right fielder. Unfortunately, it's sometimes just the draw of the luck of this game.
Oh yeah. I know as an infielder myself back in the day, yes, the throw is probably 80% of the job, but the tag is the most important part. And we've seen those swim moves, or now players are diving around the bag or sliding and then bringing their feet back. So it's become a lot tougher to apply those tags. And especially without, view replay here, it's really all about how obvious you can make it to the umpire.
And Myers steps into the plate. So far in the day, 1 for 2 on the season, hitting .400, as she's going to take a strike on the corner there, as it will be an 0-1 count.
Yeah, we saw a big lead over there on second. Now in softball, they can only start leading once the ball crosses the dish. She almost got halfway down to third base.
Myers pokes this to left field, and it's going to burn the left fielder as the Lady Roos rounding third. Myers digging for third base as she's going to stop herself, go back to second base, and that's going to be 2 runs there for the Lady Roos as Brinkley and Kelly come across the dish.
Great piece of hitting there. Left fielder was fairly shallow, just over her head. That'll punish poor positioning there in the outfield and bring these Lady Roos to a 4-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Still looking to do more damage with the runner in scoring position.
And the University of Dallas Lady Crusaders are going to do a pitching change, as Garrett is done for the day for the Lady Crusaders. And as we look to find out who is going to be in the circle next for the Lady Crusaders, we're going to take a very quick break. Your score 3-7, Lady Roos lead the Lady Crusaders. And we are back here on the broadcast. 3-7 is your score. Lady Roos leading this game. And in the circle for the Lady Crusaders to rectify this inning is going to be number 4 for the Crusaders, being Ava Trevino. And
Yeah,
first pitch there on the outside corner.
Surprised it took them that long to go to the bullpen And maybe they thought they had a little more out of their starter, but I would have liked to see a little pitching change maybe earlier once those base runners got on. As now we find our Lady Roos 4-run lead.
Inside pitch there for a ball, 2-0 count.
So this is the start Austin College wanted to this weekend. Looking to get on a little 2-win streak.
And for what it seems like so far, the Lady Crusaders, as the pitch is delivered, and that's going to be grounded over to the shortstop there. Tries to make a throw on the knees, but Fields is going to reach safely as that brings up Tessa Contreras. And as we discussed earlier, the first baseman for the Lady Roos turned, and I mean turned, on an inside pitch and sent that over to the left field porch. But as I was saying for the Lady Crusaders, wielding 4 pitchers on the year so far, being Christina Guerra, Julia Cruz, who we'll more than likely see tomorrow, Ava Trevino, who obviously is in the circle today, and then number 16, Madison Carta. Trevino so far in the year has only thrown in 2.2 innings with a 15.75 ERA. So Trevino last week was the starter for University of Dallas. Looks like they had Julia Cruz come out of the bullpen as well as Carta. And we're going to have a pinch runner there for Fields for the Lady Roos. And that is going to be number 4, the senior from Crum, Texas, being Faith Butler. And Butler's going to go. Crusaders are going to cut it off there and keep that run at third base. And a great heads-up play there by the infield of the Lady Crusaders, making sure that Myers doesn't advance to home plate. And that puts Contreras with 2 ducks on the pond and looking to do more damage.
Yeah, good stolen base there. Once we saw that substitution, we basically knew she was running. She gets in there easily, tries to force a misplay. That one's up the middle.
Lines that right back up the middle as Butler's going to advance to third base. Myers is going to score and tack on another ribeye for the day for Contreras.
Up to bat, Brooklyn Kreider.
Yeah, Contreras feasting tonight on these Lady Crusaders.
And up at the dish for the Lady Roos is going to be from Abilene, Texas, the shortstop, number 33, Brooklyn Kreider. Kreider so far in this game 2 for 2, looking to extend that. And driven to left field. UD's going to camp under it. Myers is going to tag and takes a bad, or rather Butler takes a bad hop at home plate as Butler will score. Contreras is going to move over to second base. And the Lady Roos tack on the 3rd run of this inning. And the Lady Roos back at the top of the lineup for the switch hitter, Tori Fowler, who's going to continue to be in the left-hand batter's box for the day.
Yeah, Tori Fowler, the one on her back out of Red Oak, Texas. Went to Red Oak High School, the senior. Once again, another switch hitter here for these Lady Roos. And you touched on the importance of having those bats, especially at the top of their lineup.
And Fowler tries to put it right over the third baseman. And that's the great chess game that comes into play when you think about making a lineup. You know, one thing for the Lady Roos that you see to start off, you got a switch hitter, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, lefty, righty, righty, righty. You have a lot of balance in this lineup, and especially having a switch hitter at the top of the lineup. That's your tone setter. As Fowler sees one outside. And we have a 1-2 count here.
Yeah, Fowler definitely been setting the tone for these Lady Roos in recent past. Last season, she batted just over 300 with an on-base percentage of 336. So that's the type of production you want on your leadoff spot.
And she's going to swing and miss there for the strikeout. as Trevino gets out of it without damage, however, as the Lady Roos lead it 3-9. We go to the top of the 6th inning, and we will be back just shortly. We are back here on the broadcast. 3-9 is your score as the Lady Roos lead it by 6. And McGowan back in the circle for the Lady Roos, looking to continue to have a pretty solid outing. Obviously, as we saw, got out of a jam last inning, and that's what you're looking for with a relief pitcher, and that just goes to show you for head coach Brandon Johnson what you're looking for in a pitcher, and especially, the further and further that you go into the season, what you're trying to build from your bullpen and that momentum that you're trying to generate from game to game.
Oh, yeah. McGowan will not forget getting out of that inning as she finally finds success here for these Roos team. And I'm sure her ERA must have gone down, 10 points there, getting her team out of that jam. And now she gets to walk back onto the mound with an even larger lead, which, you as a pitcher, you must feel a sense of relief or a little bit more confidence there on the mound when your team gets you so many runs on the board.
And the count goes to 1-1. I'd like to say that, but I will say there was a curse that always followed me around, that every time I step on the mound, that's when the defense started not to play very well.
But
happen. I know there's a lot of pitchers out there that can relate to that.
Yeah, I guess to play devil's advocate, maybe you loosen up a little bit. Your defense thinks, oh, we got this one in the bag. But, never take your foot off the gas on both sides of the field. But we'll see if Austin College can do that here tonight.
Up at the dish right now for the Lady Crusaders is going to be Katie Duffy-Ralph. Duffy-Ralph so far on the day is 0 for 3, playing the hot corner for today. As she's going to swing at an outside pitch, and that's going to be McGowan's first strikeout of the evening.
After that, Kaylee Susie.
And Sweezy back up for the Lady Crusaders, 0 for 1 so far on the day.
Yeah, Sweezy had a good season last year. On base percentage just around 300. Batted around 233. 60 at-bats in total. But definitely more of a situational hitter.
McGowan with the 0-1 pitch. Going to put that into the gap there as Fowler's going to get under it, and that would be the second out of the inning. And it pays off when you have just an overall very, very fast outfield, as we see the Lady Roos do have. You look at their center field position, right field position, left field position, you see a lot of speed out there, and that's one thing that a lot of teams don't really account for in their lineup, especially when you look at the baseball side. The younger you are, that's kind of the right field. You just stick out there, let them go pick the daisies. But the older and older you get, it really becomes a strategy-based game, and especially for the Lady Roos, they do a phenomenal job with their speed. And that's one thing that this team really plays off of, is speed and finding ways to get on base.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated to have a speedy outfield. And you can save so many runs, defensive runs saved. You can get outfield assists, as we saw some good throws from the outfield so far today.
And McGowan with the 0-2 count, look for a second strikeout of the inning. McGowan's going to go inside, as that will go to a 1-2 count. McGowan so far this outing has been living on the corners, trying to paint the inside-outside corners. You could say a little bit of Greg Maddox, if you will, right there.
Yeah, she's definitely found her footing now, coming in a jam, escaping that, and gotten a quick 1-2 here at the top of this 6th inning.
And the ground ball there to Brothers. And that will get the Lady Roos out of this inning. And the Lady Roos 3 outs away, as they got to stay on top of it. And as we talked about just this past inning, making sure their foot is on the gas, as right now the score 3-9. Lady Roos up against the Lady Crusaders. We're going to take a very quick break, and we will be right back. And we are back here on the Big Daddy Media broadcast here. Your score still 3-9 as the Lady Roos are up. And up at the dish for the Lady Roos, as we are still at the top of the lineup, being the second baseman, number 21, Ashlyn Brothers, as she has a check swing there, doesn't go with a 1-0 count. And, of course, as always, got to give a shout-out to our QA there, our QA Randy.
Randy holding it down for us. Made sure this stream was up for you guys at home.
And Brothers is going to tap it to the shortstop, trying to run it out, and she does. And Brothers is going to turn for second. Crusaders trying to get the ball there to second base. It almost turns into a snowball fight, as Brothers turns a tapper, an easy tapper to the shortstop, into being on second base. And that's one thing, with baseball and softball that, they teach from a very, very young age, and it still holds true the older and older you get. The last thing you want to do is create a snowball fight. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it does get out of hand. Sometimes, with the speed of the game and the momentum shift and everything that goes into it, adrenaline, that all kind of creates sometimes where the game goes too fast.
Oh, yeah. Especially in softball, as these base paths are shortened. Obviously, the pitcher's mound is closer. We see a lot more small ball plays. So a lot of softball, you're playing into your opponent's mistakes. You're waiting for them to make that crucial mistake, as we just saw there. Now we already have a runner on second.
An outside pitch there makes it a 1-1 count. At the dish for the Lady Roos is Lauren Trott, who's had so far a great season, an honorable mention for last week's SCAC Player of the Week, or rather Hitter of the Week. And laser towards second base. That's going to cause Brothers to score. And Trott is going to hold at second base as the Lady Roos up there scored a double digits on the evening.
Good piece of hitting there. That's probably the hardest hit ball we've seen all night. Lasered past second base, rolls all the way to the wall. That'll add another run here for these Lady Roos, as they lead it now 10-3 in the double digits.
And just textbook hitting there from Trott. Takes the outside pitch other way. Takes all the momentum right back to where it came from.
And I was doing some math here over on my old calculator. Last season, the Roos scored 130 runs across 40 games. And that just averages just above 3 runs. In our last 2 games, they've combined for 21 of those.
Yeah, first pitch there for a strike.
So if these Lady Roos can keep attacking the base paths here, getting runners on, they can find a lot of success on the backs of their pitching staff too. And tonight, like we said earlier, is just a clear example of when your pitchers and hitters are on.
Pop fly towards first base. And that is going to drop there. And I will say, as a former first baseman, that is one of the hardest plays, and especially the more and more you practice it as a first baseman. It never gets easier, I will say. Anytime you have a foul ball that's near the wall, a lot of communication has to be had, especially with the team, and just especially knowing where you are in the field.
Oh, yeah, because, yes, you'd love to make the Sports Center top 10 play, but you don't want to injure yourself for the rest of the season.
1-2 count for the Lady Crusaders. The pitch here, and that is going to be on the corner, just a bit outside, as that makes the count 2-2. The Lady Roos have so far put up 15 hits in this game. Anytime you can get double-digit hits, that's how you know you're doing it right.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely taking in that momentum from last weekend at Laterno. Double digits in both affairs. So we could be seeing 12 runs tomorrow, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And maybe 13.
And one thing for the Lady Crusaders, too, although the score may not show it, one thing that's a really, really positive note for the Lady Crusaders is that hit column being 7. And one thing with this whole game is this one's going to be fouled towards first base. They have found a way to stay in it. They've always had an answer back, and that's something that the Lady Crusaders can really build on as the season progresses. Very, very early in the season as we are right now.
Oh, yeah, still a lot of softball left this spring. And the Lady Crusaders always competitive in this SCAC division.
The full count pitch, it's going to be fouled back yet again. And the Lady Roos all night have been battling in these counts.
Yeah, and while not usually showing up at the top of the box score, but definitely like making these pitchers pitch is going to put them in trouble late.
Brinkley looking to find her way on first base, the 3-2 pitch. Going to be right down the middle, and they're going to put that right in the right center field gap. As Trott's going to come around. Brinkley digging for third, and she is up with a stand-up triple as the Lady Roos continue to tack on momentum here. As the score now becomes 3-11.
Stand-up triples are hard to come by.
And that actually is going to be our run rule for this game, as the Lady Roos run rule the visiting University of Dallas Crusaders. Your final here, 3-11 for this game. And, well, I got to say, Connor, this really does set up a really great series that we got coming up for this. I mean, a lot of great at-bats this series, a lot of hits this game, putting this series in a really good chance to continue to see both offenses do really, really great and to continue to build off, and hopefully we see success from both teams coming into this weekend.
Oh, yeah, exactly, Max. And Austin College improves their record to 2-4, their conference record to 2-2, and that brings the University of Dallas down to 0-3, and same with the conference, 0-3. But thanks for having me on tonight as color.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah, it's been a pleasure, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. But ultimately, a good night of softball here, Friday night in Sherman.
Alrighty, well, that's going to do it this evening. Again, your final score here for the Lady Roos, 3-11, as we will be back tomorrow afternoon for a 2-game doubleheader series where the Crusaders go back at it against the Lady Roos, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much for watching Big Daddy Media. It's been fun. It's been Connor Peterson and as well Max Danielson. We thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow back here at Sherman ISD Complex. Have a great night, everyone.